So this tutorial over here, we're going back to our crane, or our lifting device. I've decided to bring the base back, and I just aligned it so the truss structure of the crane is roughly towards the middle. I'm also going to draw a counterweight over here at the back, so I just draw a rectangle. I'm going to extrude that, and as I extrude that, I'm going to give it a, I'm going to make it a new body. And this particular new body, I'm also going to, can I press the whole body? I just want to fill it because I want to make it look like an actual, like a brick or a block is at the back here, just to make it look cool. How far in do we want? Okay, let's say it's like that. And let's say the last thing I want to do is, because this is going to show what an image looks like. So it's going to look great when we put it into our drawing. So let's say this over here is a, what's a realistic size? 20 kilograms. I believe I can increase the height by this, right? So what if I make it 30? Nice. And then I believe I can I move it? No. Alright, so it's just going to be that there, 20 kilos, and then I can finish my sketch, and I can, if this is like a weight or a brick or something, this is probably going to be indented like that. So now it's like, looks like that. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to change this material appearance. This one I want this to be cast iron. Alright, so see how it has that like grainy structure? That's going to look really good. And we'll make this wood. Do we have pine? Oh, we do. Ooh, pine 3D. Yes, please. Semi-gloss, unfinished. There you go. So that's pine. So we've got our materials now. This over here is cast iron. This over here is pine, and this over here is aluminium. So we have two ways of getting this into an image. We can do our rendering, which we will do after the next step, which we are going to get this into an orthographic projection, so we can send this image out to a place for them to start, manufacturing it. Over here in the top left-hand corner, we have design. We already done simulation. We're going to now do drawing, and we're going to do drawing from design. Before we do that, we want to save our thing, because it's going to, before it can move into the next platform, it needs a save. Right, it's saved. We go to the design. We go to drawing. Come on, and we pressed from design. Yep, we see how it's all highlighted in blue. That means it's going to pick this. Something over here, we have full assembly. Sometimes you can pick only the visible parts if you only want to do that. We're going to make a new drawing. Our standard is ISO. And our standard sheet size is A3. Press OK. It takes a while to load up, depending on the complicated nature of your drawing. Alright, so you get this basic sheet over here. Over here in the bottom right hand corner, you see you have a, what's this called? A title block with like the date. Is that today's date? Okay, yes. The name, this is the file name you had, so make sure you didn't have like an inappropriate file name for any of your products. It has your name over here. Now, as you know, as my mouse is going around the screen, I have a low-res version, a small version of my drawing. So before I click the page, look on the right here. What do we have? This is a drawing view. This is the rules that this current image has. Front, it's assuming this direction is the front direction of my drawing. If we look at here, we'll see that the front view, if we look at this block over here in the top right hand corner, we could see that, come on, are you going to rotate for me? Which button is it? No. Okay, shift and middle mouse button. If we go over here, we see that the front view is looking at it from like the counterweight. Now, if in my particular drawing, let's say if this is actually our front view, that just means when we drew it wrong. But we're just going to say the back is the front view, so we can go Where were we? We lost it. Top left-hand corner, we're going to press the base view. That gives us back to that screen that we're at before. So instead of doing the front, we're going to change this to the back. Now this changing of the orientation depends greatly on your own design. So you can also just keep changing them between front, back, left and right and see which one makes sense for your views. And so let's just say we want our main view for this one. Let's say we want the right view, because I'll show you why. So we have the right view and I click it. The other thing we have here is the scale. This is 1 to 10. This is how this drawing would actually come out if we printed it on A3. You could also change this to 1 to 5 and then the drawing will update. And notice you can see those pixels. It is a low res version. We can even do 1 to 2. And because it's trying to do a mini rendering, but eventually it'll come out with the full thing. So let's say we want to just do it as 1 to 10. Don't worry about these other settings. You can play around with those if you want, but I click somewhere. I'm going to click here around the, if this is the middle, I'm going to do it slightly to the bottom and to the left, and I'll show you why. If I click, it does a blue box around it. This is the drawing view for this. This is the right-hand side of our crane. And if we press OK, and then it instantly converts it into like pencil drawing. So we could zoom in and we see everything is done in lines and vectors, and we even have our 20 kilogram over here. This is done. Next thing we're going to do for our drawing is we've got to get our other views, because we want to do an orthographic projection. So over here, top left, we press the second one, which is projected view. Right? We press our main view over here, and then as I hover my mouse above and to the left and to the right and to below, it's going to be drawing the other views of the crane. So if I go here and I do this view over here to the left, I'll get a view. I'll go to the right, I'll get a view. If I go to top and bottom, and then once I press those and I press enter, they're already all done. And I can even click my original view, I believe, and I can move it. Yeah, I can even move my original view, and all the other views are going to move in relation, because they have to line up. They're all going to move in relation to that original view. So over here, we have all these projected views and they all line up. Next thing, we need to do some dimensions. We don't need to do section, we don't need to do detailed view, we don't have to do break, we don't have to do any sketching, but we do need to do dimensions. So if we press down the dimension tabs, you can see there's a bunch of dimensions that you can pick here. D is it tries to think smartly what your dimension is. But you can also just, sometimes you want to do a very precise dimension, so you might want to do linear, aligned, angled, radius, chain, whatever. So let's just pick the standard dimension view. If I press this, right now I'm going to click something. Let's say I want to do the base plates. Right, so if I just hover the line, as soon as I hover over there, I'm already getting that dimension over there, which is 800 millimeters. If I click it, it makes it. Then I get to choose where I want this dimension. So the default rules for dimensions, any of the graphics technology kids would know this, that you have your dimension, you have 800, you have this line over here determining that it's from this line, and it's not touching the model. So ideally you want all your dimensions to be outside of the drawing, as in, like, see, this is the drawing space, you want it to be outside, you don't want it to be interfering with the internals of the drawing, and you don't want it to be touching. You can also, see if I hover over this one, it already does 150. You can also click this length, and then you can force it to be that. This is going to be relevant when we want to do like some of these more intricate lines over here. That's just a very simple one. We can also do, let's say we want to do this 20 kilogram block over here. See, I couldn't actually highlight this length because it's, see how it's less, right? It's not the actual full length. So if I wanted to do the size of this counterweight over here, I have to press this top line and this bottom line, and then I'll get the actual, see, I'll get the actual length by pressing that. I can then press escape. I can, I want to delete this one. Let's do another one. Let's do dimensions. You can press this, if I hover over this radius over here, radius of 10. So we already know that these over here, these corners are going to be a radius of 10. What else can we do? We can press dimensions. We can find the angle. Maybe we want to know the angle that this crane is going at. So we can press this line, and it should give us an angle of 135 degrees. And then we can do, we can also do things like we can know our distance. Hold on, how do we do this one? Oh. We want to, let's say we want to find, define the view oranges. We want to find how far this goes out. So I think we want, actually I don't exactly know how to get that dimension. Okay, so there we go. If we click that line and we click there, we know this is going to come out at 303, so we can prove that part, because remember we have to say, how far did we say it comes out? 30 centimeters. 30 centimeters out, 30 centimeters high. So we know this is 30 centimeters out, and we can find the height by getting this length over here and getting this length over here. And so then we can prove that the height is there as well. You can also find individual members by, now notice how this particular member over here, right, in the model we know it goes all the way down into here, but when we're doing our dimensions, if it's hidden it doesn't exist. Or does it? Oh, it does, because the line, it's still, even though it's visually not there, it can see that the member goes all the way down into there. So it's not always going to be perfectly in relation to the image that we have. Let me remove that. We can also do some, I don't think we have any empty holes. Oh, there we have one. So I can press this dimension, we can press this hole over here. Tiny. It's not the most ideal way to draw it, but we could do that. Some students are asking how many views do you need? You need at least 3. The reason why I just pumped out 5 is because notice how I did this view over here, and I thought I'll do a top and a side, but this over here, this top view, hides a lot of the information because it's looking at it from underneath, and like we can't see the box, we can't see the counterweight or where the crane connects, the truss connects. So I just pumped out the other views. You can do all 5 and then just pick which ones best represent your crane. You need a side view, you need a front or back, and you need a top or bottom, depending on how your drawing is done. You should still have the base, the wooden base of your drawing. So like just that plank of wood. Because you need that to measure the height. Because the height from the height of your lifting device is from the bottom of the piece of wood. And then you do your dimensions. And then you can also fill out these boxes over here, I believe, by you can get text. You can type in here and say whatever you need to do in there for your title box. Approval, revision, like most of this stuff isn't really needed for you, but you can fill out these things. Then once you're done, you can press the export button, where over here you can export as a PDF, and it's going to come out as a PDF, and you can put that in your report, or you can attach that additionally to a like a Google Drive or whatever the document is. I'm not going to press export PDF because it's going to load up my file directory.